go. We're checking the connections, all that kind of stuff. All right, so our video tonight is going to be on me getting, I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, a live coaching session from Liam. So,
snoring right now sideways, right?
Yeah, this feels really awful. Actually, I thought about this like about 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, I think that's what we should do tonight. Because like the things that I'm feeling, I think a lot of people out there are feeling, and if it can be helpful, I'm willing to just put it out there, be honest, and have like the proper feedback, come back and deal with whatever's there. But holy cow, do I feel really awful.
When you started feeling sick, is it?
Yeah, just before you showed up, actually. And then you walked in and you sat on the couch and you're like, how's it going? And it was like, I thought I was going to be in tears. So I wasn't going through that much stuff, really. It wasn't that bad until you showed up. Yeah, so we'll see exactly what shows up, because whatever it is clearly ready to move. I thought I knew what I was going to talk about, but it feels like something else is probably going to come up and I'm just going to go all over the place. But we'll see. So anyway, so
we let the cat in?
No, we're not letting the cat in. Apologize. The cat loves to come in and jump all over absolutely everything, and that's going to be distracting. It'll keep me from going. So two separate things going on. So I'll put them both out, and whichever one sort of you might actually see commonalities, or whichever one you want to pick on. Feel free to pick on. So one is feeling really frustrated the last little while. I feel like there's a lot that's coming to me intuitively that's like, yes, it's go time. It's great. We're really excited for the things that that you're doing, and you've got the space, you've got the running room. You can go for it. All the brakes are off, right? Like, and it's go time, and then it's like, okay, and then a whole bunch of other random shit will come up. And I can't get anything done because there's stuff with the family, there's stuff over here, there's stuff over there. And I've gone through this so many times over so many years in different ways that I feel like very uninspired now, like just so beaten up from the whole process of going through all this, making the choice to only move the projects forward that I'm working on when I feel intuitively called for it. And it's been a great journey, and I'm really happy that I did that. It's very
just scoot you this way a little bit
because I'm not
on Instagram.
Okay. So I feel like I've been knocked out, and I feel like I got nothing left. And that's where it ties in. So the last couple days, I've finally had the time to sit and get things done. My son's now in aftercare after school in this great program. So he's gone till 5. I have from 12 to 5, and it feels like the hours are going slowly, which is really great. So I can get a lot of stuff done. And I feel like I've been such an emotional basket case. Today, I really felt like it's the beginning steps of depression that were sitting there, just like this like sadness and not wanting to get off the couch, and this depression feeling, this depressive feeling, which I've gone through before a long time ago and stuff. So it's obviously I know some of it, and it's not, I wouldn't call it major clinical depression, but very depressive feeling there, very overwhelming feelings around it. And I think the two things are actually connected, because I really am very excited about moving all these different things forward. And I have no excitement, no joy around any of it, and actually pretty much around nothing anymore. Like I've been knocked out. And
that bigger piece is going on for a while though, right?
Yeah, it's really hit
I'm gonna call
home.
it blandness.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's really hit home the last little while because it was like, okay, well that's there, but it's about these projects and I'm really excited about the projects and whatever. And now it's like everything is open. It feels like everything now is open and available and I can't do anything about it. I guess is mostly how it feels. Like I can't do anything about it because I got nothing left. I got nothing left to give.
Yep.
Anywhere. It's like, fuck it. And that's where I'm at. And it feels really shitty.
Yep. Well, when you started talking, the first thing that came up was forgiveness. And I guess there's what I'm just going to park that for a minute. There's forgiveness, so there's a whole something there around that, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's also a point where you're at right now. Like if we were to look back on the Stuart story, if you like, going back along, there's always been like, I've got to do this, and then I got to do this, and I got to do this. Like there's always been something of I got to do this first. That's played out for a long time.
Yeah, and I can't do this because.
Yes. Like an if then, right?
And
I feel the summers kind of come along, and there was what I'm going to call it, that accelerant feeling of like they're like things are finally lining up.
Yes, very much so.
And with that feeling, then came the summer, and you never really got anywhere near any of those things.
Like right? Nowhere near any of it. Yes.
And there's also been pieces in there that have been what I'm going to call like things in the relationship that have kicked up truth in a different way. And there's it's a bit like there's an opening that's there, but in order to walk through the opening, if you like, there's all this other stuff that's there that's kind of been the thing. Like the words are kept you safe.
Yeah, that rings true.
And the other side of kept you safe is kept you constrained and not free.
Yes.
And so now with what I'll call, this isn't entirely different to that story you told me the other day about was it Picasso? Not Picasso. The Plato's guys in the cave.
Oh yeah, the Plato's allegory of the cave.
Yeah. That story, that essentially what you've got is, what do you want to say? You were one of the people chained up, or the chains, or the cave, or whatever we want to put it.
Yeah.
There's now an opening.
Yeah.
And with the opening, it's like you're looking out, you're seeing brightness for the first time. And don't quite know what it is.
Yeah.
But then, as it sinks in, if the brightness is as it seems, like if all that stuff out there is now real and possible, then there's this thing, there's like this lump to deal with as an impact.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's the logical, which is, well, you just see the thing, boom, you walk through the door, you're all good to go.
Yeah.
Which is a nice idea.
Mm-hmm.
But what in fact is happening is almost like the I don't like this particular analogy, but it's like the snake shedding its skin. Like there's a new thing coming out. And not dissimilar to what I'll call like the butterfly analogy as well. Like that there's a trauma required for the freedom.
Yeah, actually, that's funny because the snake and the snake shedding came up last weekend. When I was away, it really showed up. It was quite interesting. So it was a perfect analogy, actually. Yeah, go on.
But the other thing that seems there is whatever words you want to put on, like kind of like God wants you to know that it's safe, that you are safe.
Yeah.
But then there's the release that's going to happen, and it's not even may happen. It's a going to happen. Like you've already chosen the path. You know where you're going. Like all the things are lining up.
Yeah.
And it kind of just depends on how you want that to go down. Because the way it seems to be like coming up as a heartbreak, like to suddenly get to see that there's a space there now to walk into, and you're left alone. Like there's not all the stuff that you think you've had to carry, and there's a something that's there, but it's almost like it's overwhelming. Like the overwhelm that you was the word that you use. Like it's overwhelming because the depth of realization for the feelings and the impacts on you spiritually, mentally, emotionally of everything up till now. Like there's a something to do with that to give it, like let it go. But there's a, and I want to avoid bringing it back to like what I'll call like the usual logical trigger words, which are, you know, with the personal development circles. You know, they're like, oh yeah, you know that, and then you drop right back to wherever the thing was.
Yeah.
But my question for you is like forgiveness. What comes up when I say forgiveness?
Shitty feeling in my chest. It's exactly, you said it before. I was like, oh, actually, many things that you have said. It's like, ugh. And that's that truth. You know, before we've talked about like this, what feels like truth to you. It's like that's how it's hitting. Like, he's right. It's true. It's fucking awful.
But it, like for me, the thing is like, so there's forgiveness, but there's like, for who and for what?
Yeah. When you put it that way, there's going to be forgiveness for myself first and foremost. There's a lot there, and other people that I'm close to, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, people that I spend lots of time with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without getting into what I'll call like too much personal right now, there seems to be a correlation with what I'm going to call like there was the like this was the hill I chose to die on, I feel like. And there's all the things that go with that, but the one thing that the hill does is it gives you a thing to talk about. Like there's a purpose that thing serves. And the reason I use this analogy is typically because what I'm going to call like relationships, whether they're friendships, intimate relationships, husband, wife, kids, whatever. There's always a something available in there that's what I'm going to call the fall guy. Like
it's like that's the cross you get to bear.
Yeah, but it's like there's a convenient scapegoat for that cross.
Yeah.
And the cross you bear is a good example of it, because it's like, well, here's the thing, and here's the reasons, and here's the people, and this is how it works.
Yeah.
And there's a something inside of that like there's that, and then there's now the opportunity of stepping out into something, but there's kind of only one thing that's going to like deal with the forgiveness. And that's what I'm going to call like love on a different level. And it's it's like, so in the personal development circles, there's always kind of like, we'll clear up the stuff, or like forgive people, and it's like, but it's always kind of like an in order to. But actually, like for me, the example would be like, if I forgive you,
yeah,
and that's actually from a space of what I'm going to call like that divine love that seems illusory for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Forgiveness of another from that space will do something here.
Yeah.
That I don't think is available without it coming from that space. Like it's
like unconditional forgiving.
Yeah.
Usually it's very conditional. Like,
yeah.
I forgive you so I can get X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And it's forgiving without the idea of, I'm going to do this so that I can move through that door.
Yeah.
It's like just leaving all that aside and just forgiving to forgive.
Yeah, and the way I would describe it is like it's unattached. It's a bit like the least sensible thing it seems to do, like if you're a person in a relationship or a friendship, is to give that person so much space.
Yeah.
Almost like do what you have to do for yourself, or what's aligned with you.
Yeah.
And just open it right up in that space.
Right.
That seems counterintuitive, because there's some version of what I'm going to call like the man world of man, if you like, that still thinks I need to control something and do something.
Yeah.
So that's the clash with those pieces. So love, bit like on whatever level, kind of like on a level that it hasn't been before, like tapping that level of it.
Yeah.
We'll deal with this. Yeah. But you described it quite well, because essentially we're in that space of what is truth and only truth now. It's like they're you can put other things into it, but they're all just going to be like either super bland or just feel really, really weird. And you can deal with it in whatever period of time you want to deal with it, but it's kind of like you know where it's going, right?
Yeah, and truth was really the word that showed up a lot yesterday, like working with the word truth, like just over and over again, truth, because it feels like there's this clutter, this stuff that's sitting there, and it's like there's something underneath
Yeah.
that I want to get to, like I need to get to, but I can't. I can't see it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And just even repeating the word truth, it's like it's having it dissipate enough that I can start to see something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And like for now, I'm inclined to kind of leave it there because I don't think that actually like digging any more into that right now is going to serve.
Yeah.
You're
just being nice.
No, I just don't want to pour it all out on the internet.
I think you hit like some really good, solid points, and it reiterates some of the things that have been going on.
Yeah.
Like my thoughts. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel sufficiently awful. I'm gonna go curl up on a ball on the couch here and cry my eyes out for a little bit. Okay.
But I guess the other thing I wanted to kind of say on the back of this as well is like it takes something to go to that level to be like there's all the thoughts and concerns and all the other things that are there, but there's a something else that's now that's like actually I don't want anything, like I don't want anything between me and the world, if you like.
Yeah.
And there's a truth in there that's I think really, really important for both of us, and it doesn't allow for the what I'm going to call the segmentation or the compartmentalization of things. There's a wholeness for both of us that's showing up at the moment. That's kind of a bit like this is a bad idea, but it's really important, you know.
Yeah, like doing this. And that other video that hasn't come out yet, but it will come out in terms of the astral traveling at lunchtime. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. I hope everybody got something out of this. I see some little things going on down at the bottom here. I'm in the exact same space myself, excited about creative projects, but no desire to work on them. Yeah, a period of rest. Yeah, for some people, yeah, absolutely. It could definitely be a period of rest. Because there's been many times over the years that I've just had the feeling like, yes, I'm really excited to work on it, but it hasn't been the right time to work on it. And it's getting to know when is the right time to work on it. Like just because you have the idea and you're excited about the idea, it doesn't necessarily mean it is the right time. And sometimes you yourself have to change to grow into the person to actually create that thing. And those periods of rest are those times.
But I also think it's important to address rest as well, because for example, I was out at my sister's house the weekend, and my brother-in-law kind of said to me, "Oh, like you've got a big birthday coming up. You know, what are we going to do about it?" And then they kind of said, like, "Well, you remember a couple of years ago when you came over, and we were kind of saying, like, well, like rest and relaxation and balance is important." And my answer was, "Okay, but all of the things that I used to do for rest are not rest now."
Yeah.
They may come back to that, but it's just rest doesn't necessarily look like Netflix and chill. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't look like the things it might look like. It's about finding what I'm going to use a different word instead of rest, but like space, something that gives you space. You know, that type of thing for whatever the heck that looks like. For
yeah, absolutely. Suddenly feeling no fear or doubt to move ahead on my creative projects any longer. Yeah, which is great. That's exactly how I think both of us are feeling about some of the things that we're working on. It's like, all of a sudden it was like the heavens parted, and it's like, oh my God, the clouds, I wouldn't even say the heavens parted, but like the clouds, the rain clouds, the heavy thunder clouds moved. I was like, oh, finally, freedom to move forward, which feels really, really nice. It really does.
And then we couldn't do anything.
Yeah, and then we couldn't do anything, which is always fun. There's a couple other little things here. Let's go back up. Oh, wow. Thank you for being so vulnerable. I can relate. I worked as a detective in sex crimes. I feel like you lead with your heart. Oh, thank you. What do you do for spiritual boundaries and or energetic hygiene? Oh my God, that is. We got to do a whole separate video on that. But to answer the question now, energetic hygiene is really, really important when you're dealing with a lot of people. I tend to deal with a lot of people every day, and for me, it is very important. The hygiene part as well as the boundaries part. And what I used to do for boundaries was, on my drive in, I would envision the white bubble and a zipper on the front, and as I would walk in the door, I'd like zip up, and keep myself safe and everything else. But what I realized is actually I got to the point that it was more just my intention. Like, nobody's coming in my space today. Nobody is doing that.
Mm-hmm.
There was something that I started detailing cars earlier this year, and I really enjoy it and everything else. But what I was finding was that after 6 hours of working on somebody's car, I did not feel like myself anymore. And I realized that, well, because I'm sitting in somebody's energy for 6 freaking hours, no wonder you don't feel so great. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen anymore. And that was it. It just didn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
It completely shifted. In terms of energetic hygiene, when I feel that I really need to do like I've been in a space where not feeling so great after and stuff like that.
Talk about the things you recommended recently,
yeah. Yeah. So sage, I burned some sage, and a big one that also that works really, really well is using sea salt. So you take a shower or a bath with sea salt, and not the coarse stuff. I did it with the coarse stuff the first time. It was a really bad idea.
The coarse stuff.
The coarse stuff is really bad idea. And you just put it all over your body, and as the water washes it off, it's like it's washing off all of the other stuff. And I think, with both of those and any other things that people use, what it really comes down to mostly is the intention and the belief. Those two things are the real powerhouses that run all of these different things.
And I would say pray.
Yes,
depending on where you are on the spectrum with things.
Yeah, meditate or pray, whatever.
But
whatever you're at. Yeah, absolutely.
But the way I would describe it is like intentional. Like it's an intentional ritual.
Yeah,
like something you put in that way for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also found that what I'm going to call like the boundaries and the hygiene, some of those things. Some of the concerns with those may also not be coming from the right place, because it's like if I'm worried about getting sucked into, or having other people's energy come in and like mess me up, or that I didn't do specific things in a specific way beforehand to protect myself. That whole concept may be sitting in something for you or I specifically.
Yes.
That's sitting in a fear of something.
Yes. Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Is essentially that whole concept can be terrifically powerful. But I've also found at points, when somebody brings those type of things up, they can be bang on, or they can be like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah.
And I think, if you're doing it out of like fear, like this abject fear of like, oh my God, I have to do something to protect myself before I go out of the house, shit's not going to work the same way.
Yeah.
Because your mindset around it is not in the right place. Because you're going out in fear of what other people are going to do, and what is inevitably going to happen in one way, shape, or form. People are going to do shit to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, like when I started doing it, it was like, wow, I think that I need to do this because I tend to feel like crap a lot.
Yeah.
When I go into spaces with a lot of people, and it wasn't like, oh, I'm in fear of X, Y, and Z. It was more like, I just feel better when I do it.
Yeah.
And end of story, you know? Yeah. So wow, it looks like there's lots of that's I think. Oh no, there's more down here. Love the suggestions to pray with intention. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Um sometimes I just invoke a rainbow shield. Oh, that's really nice. Affirmations, words or spells. Yes, affirmations. Whatever it is that you connect with. Um Usually whenever we give suggestions about things, I really, underline the idea that these are our suggestions. These are the things that work for us, that don't necessarily work for everybody. You have to feel out whatever works for you. And here's a bunch of ideas, and you kind of choose one and try it. Yeah.
And I'd also say, like, and with the statement, like, words are spells, you need to be really careful with that as well. Because, spells can go either way with things.
Yeah.
So,
they can.
Be aware. Be aware.
Yeah. And using it in a good, positive way, I think is really great. I think that like the phrase in and of itself, words are spells, I think is a beautiful phrase because it holds so much power. Like for self, really realizing that what you can, how much you can change within yourself when you're aware of your language.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely great. Thank you for that. Always creating protection out of love instead of fear, so that I'm a clear channel for source. Yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah, bang on. That's it. I think
we're gonna say we should probably
wind it down. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for joining. And
thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna start doing these every week. We're actually doing them we're sending them to YouTube now as well as Instagram.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say last time, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to say it, but yeah, I think it's time to actually say that. We're starting to do them every week, and yeah, I was going to say what we're going to talk about next week, but you know what, chances are it's going to change 5 minutes before we're going to do it anyway. That's why we don't post like, hey, this is what we're talking about tonight, because we really don't know until 5 minutes before we start it. So thanks everybody, and have a great night and a great day.
Bye.
Bye. There we go. There we go. All right.